Our top focus is all the updates expected in the Gyanvapi mosque case, because the Supreme Court is all set to resume its hearing of this case starting 3 p.m. today. The Apex Court on Thursday stayed the hearing in the Varanasi court. The move came from the top court amid fears of the Muslim side that the Wazukhana, where a shivling was allegedly found, could be raised following the order by the Varanasi court to seal the area. Two survey reports submitted in the Varanasi court mentioned an oval-shaped shivling structure in the Gyanvapi mosque complex. Survey reports also reveal a conical structure under the mosque dome, 4 idols in crimson color, temple ruins and images of deities. The survey report submitted before the Varanasi court mentions a shivling of 2.5 feet in height. The report says that the depth of the shivling is 63 centimeters and base circumference is 4 feet. Meanwhile, after the survey submissions, Friday prayers will be offered today at the Gyanvapi mosque, especially because the Supreme Court made it clear that prayers must continue. So there are two survey reports, both in court, both mentioning an oval-shaped shivling structure in the Gyanvapi mosque complex in Varanasi. The 12-page report and one is by sacked Commissioner Ajay Mishra, the final confirmed one by Advocate Commissioner Vishal Singh. Both are with India Today. They also refer to Hindu motifs being visible, the lotus, trishul, damru, deities, all of that seen. The big question now is, with that survey report confirming all of this, what happens next? Worshippers are now looking to the courts for clarity.
A shivling, lotus motif, damru, trishul, symbols associated with Lord Shiva and more signs of Sanatan culture. These are the big findings of the survey report submitted by court-appointed Special Advocate Commissioner Vishal Singh. The 10-page report has been submitted in the Varanasi court along with 3 boxes of evidence which include pictures and videos.
जो नक्शे हैं वो भी आप लोगों ने जी
एकदम जितनी फोटोग्राफ्स थी और वीडियोग्राफी हुई है दौरान कमीशन कार्रवाई अंडर सील है, वो हम लोगों ने सबमिट कर दिया है।
तो ये कितनी फोटोग्राफ्स होगी, किस तरह की फोटोग्राफ्स?
ये जानकारी नहीं है। जो फोटोग्राफ हुई है, सारी चीजों की फोटोग्राफी कराई गई है, सब सबमिट कर दिया गया है।
A second survey report by sacked Commissioner Ajay Mishra is also now with the Varanasi court. It also mentions 4 Hindu idols, fragmented deity, debris of temple, walls inscribed with Hindu motifs and an image of the Sheshnag.
मुझे देखने से मतलब वही प्रतीत हुआ कि ये नाग का जो है ऊपर ही टूटा हुआ फन टाइप का था।
किस तरह के अवशेष खंडित हैं, वो क्या दिखा रहे हैं?
वो मंदिर के मतलब कुछ जो है ऐसा है कि टुकड़े हैं, मूर्तियां टाइप की हैं, जो है वो आपको देखने से लगेगा कि नहीं, हाँ ये किसी मंदिर का ही अवशेष है।
मंदिर का अवशेष लगता है
जी।
The survey findings, accessed exclusively by India Today, clearly suggests the presence of the temple at the Gyanvapi mosque complex. The findings are being hailed by the Hindu side.
हमारी निश्चित रूप से मांग यही है कि वो शिवलिंग है, उस शिवलिंग की खुदाई कर और भी चीज़ों को हमारे ट्रस्ट को समर्पित कर दिया जाए, दे दिया जाए, ताकि हम उसका भोग, राग, पूजन, भजन, कीर्तन, अर्चन ये कर सके।
देखिए, सर्वे तो माननीय न्यायालय ने आदेश दिया था, उस अनुसार जो है कि पक्ष विपक्ष दोनों लोग की सहमति से अच्छे से हुआ है और अच्छे से हुआ है। पूरा न्यायालय को सौंप दिया गया। न्यायालय जो भी न्याय करेगा, पूरा विश्वास है कि सत्य की जीत होगी।
But the legal battle is far from over. The Supreme Court will now hear the Gyanvapi case on Friday at 3 p.m. It has for now put a stay on the proceedings in the Varanasi court.
Proceedings before the Varanasi court are going on. I have told you that the application which we have filed, that the Muslim side will also take some time to file their objections to our application. Mr. Abhay Yadav had mentioned before the court that they need some time to file their objections. So after all these formalities and document work are complete, the matter will proceed further for hearing.
Today it so happened that the counsel for the plaintiff Mr. Jain was unwell. In the meanwhile, the proceedings which are going on should not continue. So this is being accepted by the court, and the court has directed that the proceedings so far till tomorrow is concerned.
The heated courtroom battle over the Gyanvapi mosque has left the locals divided.
इस रिपोर्ट में क्या निकला है, आपको क्या पता?
अरे रिपोर्ट में हमारे भोलेनाथ निकले, नंदी बैल निकला, त्रिशूल निकला है, वहाँ प्रसारक चिन्ह निकला, तालाब निकला है, सब कुछ है वहाँ।
ठीक, तो जो भी कोर्ट का निर्णय होगा आपको मान्य होगा?
जी हाँ, मानेंगे, कोर्ट का निर्णय मानेंगे। और दूसरी बात, ये भाई कह रहे हैं कि यह शिवलिंग है, तो हंसने मजाक वाली बात है। वहाँ फुहारा था, फुहारा है, अब फुहारा ही रहेगा।
All eyes now on the court, on the interpretation of what the findings have been, especially about the Shivling, the Trishul, the Damru, Sringar Gauri idol, and also some other idols of Sanatan Dharm, as the report insists. Now, these reports, the videos and the photographs were submitted in at least 3 boxes to the court, and now all eyes on court.
So what happens next? The sensational survey findings are now with the Varanasi court. Will it impact the hearing in Supreme Court too? With Samad Srivastav and Gaurav in Varanasi and Anisha Mathur in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, the Gyanvapi survey report that's been submitted in the Varanasi Civil Court has hinted at a temple that was there before the mosque. The survey report has referred to carvings of the lotus bell kalash on the wall of the basement of the mosque. Nabila Jamal tells you exactly what's been found in the cellar of Gyanvapi.
He has managed to find a 12-page report that extensively describes the kind of religious symbols that they've spotted inside the Gyanvapi mosque complex. This is exactly the 3D image of that mosque complex. In fact, the Gyanvapi mosque shares a wall with the Kashi Vishwanath temple complex, which is why you see that Hindu symbolism, that temple-like structure that very clearly shows that there could have been a temple there which may have been desecrated for a mosque to be built. That is the in fact, the Sringar Gauri complex there, where we're looking at the survey findings saying that western wall that's aligned right by the Gyanvapi mosque at the back of the mosque, that western wall had large-scale Hindu symbols, all including the lotus, the damru, the trishul. You had symbols extensively signifying that this indeed was a temple at one point. This is what the survey finding says. It's now in court. The court needs to dissect that. And that particular area where you see the barricading, that's exactly where the Wazukhana was or is, where they claim to have spotted a shivling, a 2.5 feet shivling that they claim to have spotted, which the Supreme Court has now asked to protect. That's where you see the barricading right now to protect the shivling. And the most important part here is the shivling that the survey report claims to have found. The shivling that they say has been found right at the place where the Wazukhana is at the Gyanvapi mosque. And this is the 3D image that we show you here, where we're looking at that Wazukhana, which has been fully barricaded after the Supreme Court asked to protect the shivling, but also at the same time not to impede upon the rights of Muslims to carry out their namaz. So this is that Wazukhana area where you see right in the center, the shivling has been spotted as per the survey findings. Now, the distance between the Nandi, as it's visible, the distance between the Nandi and the shivling found is about 63 feet and 3 inches. This is what the survey finding has to say. And of course, the circular cutwork design on top of the shivling, that's what the survey further says, that there is some kind of cutwork on top of that shivling, which they're trying to establish what is. Now, we're also looking at a less than half-inch deep hole right in the middle of the shivling. This is what the survey findings claim further. But on the other hand, you have the Muslim side debating that this is not a shivling, that this oval structure is merely a water fountain. The mosque management has also asked to, in fact, the management asked to operate that fountain, but at the same time, they were not really able to give out factual details on how long has this water fountain been functional, whether it was functional or not, that still remains a mystery. In fact, first the mosque management said the fountain was not functional for about 20 years. And then they went on to change their stance and said that the water fountain was not functional for 12 years. So there seems to be some discrepancy in the information that the mosque management has given. It seems like they lack that knowledge. The mosque management could not really eventually prove that that fountain was indeed operational or not. So on one hand you have the Hindu side saying that it is a shivling, but on the other you have the mosque side saying that this is a water fountain. Now remember, the survey went on to open up several locked doors of the Gyanvapi mosques, which of course the mosque committee had opposed to. But post the Varanasi court's order, some of those doors were opened up. Even the cellar, the basement area, was ventured into. The survey committee has gone down to find, right at the cellar, several palm-shaped leaves, literally on the wall of that basement. That cellar had some kind of carvings that resembled palm-shaped leaves, which is again synonymous to Hindu religion in many ways. Also on that pillar were carvings of the lotus, of a bell, as well as the kalash. This is of course very important as the survey findings tries to establish that indeed there is extensive Sanatan Dharma symbolism within that Gyanvapi mosque, and this cellar here is one proof that it seems like the survey wants to present before court. The court, of course, now is going to take up the matter for debate. It remains to be seen what's going to be decided post that.
And the political war over the Gyanvapi survey is heating up. After the new findings of the 12-page survey report, which was submitted in court, the BJP has been accused of pushing a communal agenda. The All India Muslim Personal Law Board member Kamal Farooqi hit out at the Saffron Party, saying this will not end here. Gradually, all minority religious spaces will be targeted in the coming days, according to him. BJP earlier had lashed out at AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi, accusing him of communalizing the Gyanvapi issue. BJP IT cell chief Amit Malviya branded Owaisi a bigot and a hypocrite for his Masjid Te or Masjid Rahegi declaration. Samajwadi Party leader Mukhtar Ansari, meanwhile, is under the spotlight in a massive claim. The Hindu side has alleged that the Gyanvapi Mosque Trust was funded by Mukhtar Ansari, by the SP leader. As the hearing continues in this issue, there are new claims, new counterclaims that are coming to the fore every single day. Let's move on to some other stories also this morning. After over 6 years in Mumbai's Baikula jail, Indrani Mukherjee is all set to walk free today. A prime accused in the murder of her daughter Sheena Bora, Indrani will return to a plush residence in South Mumbai's Worli, which bears the shadow of Sheena Bora's murder. Here's a report on why this mansion Marlow is in the spotlight once again.
Marlow, a duplex flat in South Mumbai, is once again in the spotlight. This is where former TV tycoon and murder accused Indrani Mukherjee will stay after walking out of the Baikula jail, which has been her home for the last 6.5 years. The 3,000 square feet house was once jointly owned by Indrani and her former husband and co-accused Peter Mukherjee. The murder-accused couple split the sprawling floors after divorce proceedings. Marlow is a house crawling with secrets. Investigators believe it was here that Indrani kept her daughter Sheena Bora's body overnight after the horrific murder. It was set on fire in a forest the next morning. Even as the shadow of Sheena's murder looms large, Indrani will return to the Worli house, where she will set her affairs in order. Here, Indrani will reportedly finish her autobiography, which she began penning when she was in Baikula jail. Bureau Report, India Today.
Bad times for Navjot Sidhu. The former Punjab Congress Committee chief is likely to surrender before the Patiala police today. According to sources, the Supreme Court order will first be formally received by the Punjab and Haryana High Court, from where the same will be forwarded to the District and Sessions Court in Patiala. Sidhu will either be asked to accompany the corpse or will be given an option to surrender. Senior police officials said a police team will continue to follow Sidhu even if he opts to surrender. Immediately after his arrest, Sidhu will be taken to the local hospital, as is the procedure, for a medical examination. Meanwhile, cops will intimate jail authorities to make arrangements for lodging Sidhu. He's already hinted that he is going to be cooperating and will surrender before the police. Navjot Sidhu seems to have chosen Patiala jail, which is considered to be safer and cleaner as compared to others. Sources also said that Sidhu and his family members are consulting their advocates for the future course of action, considering that this order has come from the Supreme Court. The road rage case dates back to 1988 when Sidhu got into an argument with a Patiala resident over a parking spot. Sidhu allegedly dragged him out of his car and hit him, and the man later died.
A few months ago, Navjot Sidhu was in the race to be Punjab Chief Minister. But today, the former state Congress chief is headed to prison in a 34-year-old road rage case. The Supreme Court has sentenced Sidhu to 1-year jail term under the charge of voluntarily causing hurt. The court rejected the review plea by the victim's family to add the charge of culpable homicide not amounting to murder. The court in its order said a disproportionately light punishment humiliates and frustrates the victim of crime. The court added that indifference to the rights of a victim of a crime is eroding the faith of the society in general. Sidhu, reacting to this sentence, has said he will submit to the majesty of the law. The former cricketer's lawyer thought the review plea was a rare incident.
The turbulence, a quietus has been given by the Supreme Court. This is a matter which is rather old. In fact, review petitions themselves were not activated for many months, almost under a year. I am so happy that ultimately the Supreme Court has given a quietus.
The family, meanwhile, has decided to welcome the court's verdict.
He has to go to jail, he has to surrender and go to jail. To answer आपके सवाल का जवाब, क्या उनके पास लीगल रेमेडी है? वो एक क्यूरेटिव पिटीशन है। वो क्यूरेटिव डाल सकते हैं जी कि जो 5 जजों के पास जाएगी, 3 जज सर्टिफाई करेंगे, पर वो रेमेडी is very rarely exercised.
The road rage case dates back to 1988 when Navjot Sidhu got into an argument with a Patiala resident over a parking spot. Sidhu allegedly dragged him out of his car and hit him. The man later died. Sidhu was earlier let off with a fine of 1,000 rupees. Now, the maximum possible punishment under Section 323 of the Indian Penal Code has been given to Sidhu. From a humiliating defeat in Punjab elections to a conviction in the road rage case, the former cricketer's political career has hit a roadblock. For Navjot Sidhu, a comeback from this point seems a tough challenge. Bureau Report, India Today.
Back, Indian boxer Nikhat Zareen has made history in Istanbul. Zareen has become only the 5th Indian woman to win the world title in boxing. Zareen, who was competing in the flyweight category, decimated her Thai opponent 5-0 in the final to give India their first gold at the World Championships in the last 4 years. Zareen is also the first Indian, apart from Mary Kom, to win the coveted title in the last 14 years. Here's all that you need to know about her sensational triumph.
A few nerve-wracking moments, followed by a nervous wait for the final result. And then ecstasy. The celebration at Nikhat Zareen's house in Hyderabad carried on well into the night. After their daughter scripted a golden chapter in Indian boxing history, winning the gold at the World Boxing Championship in Istanbul. Her 5-0 win against Jitpong Jutamas of Thailand in the finals has meant that Nikhat is only the 5th Indian to win gold at the prestigious event.
firstly, I would like to thank everyone, especially BFI, Ajay sir, and Sai, and all the coaches, my head coach Bhaskar Bhatt sir, for always being very supportive. And through their support only, today I am able to become world champion. And yes, ऐसे ही मेहनत करते रहेंगे. और as Ajay sir said कि world champion तो बन गया है, but he want to see me winning Paris Olympic gold medal also. तो इंशाल्लाह ऐसे ही मेहनत करते रहूंगी मैं, and definitely I'll give my best to win Paris Olympic gold medal.
Born in 1996 to a middle-class conservative family, this Nizamabad native took to boxing at a young age of 13, thanks to the support she received from her parents from the very beginning. She first got everyone's eye when she was crowned the world junior champion in 2011. But her transition to the senior level wasn't easy, as she competed in the same weight category as arguably India's best boxer ever, MC Mary Kom. Their off-the-ring clashes also prompted Mary Kom to famously remark once, "Who is Nikhat Zareen?" But now, having played second fiddle to Mary Kom for years, Nikhat's recent exploits are proof enough that this newly crowned world champion, with her fist of fury, is a name to reckon with. Sports Bureau, India Today.